According to the World Health Organization, violence killed 643 people and injured 2,226 between 19th of March and April 6th, as heavy clashes were reported in Aden over the last 24 hours, including in residential areas. Local partners report that health workers and volunteers in Aden, including staff of a Yemeni NGO, have been abducted by parties to the conflict and taken to unspecified locations. Their status is unknown and concerns are mounting for their well-being. Meanwhile, initial World Food Program estimates projects that 12 million people are now food insecure in Yemen, a 13% increase over the last couple of, 13% increase since the end of 2014.
Are we going to have any briefing with Mr. bin Omar in any way, since he is in New York? Also, the bombardment seems targeting even water stations, and the Yemenis were out in the streets in hundreds of thousands today in Sana'a and elsewhere protesting these aerial bombardments, which are wanton in many different ways. People are fleeing to the deserts, they have no water. The humanitarian crisis there, of course, is getting worse and worse. Yesterday, Secretary General did not call for ceasefire. Is there any?
Well, I think what we would like to see is an immediate cessation of the hostilities and a return to the peaceful negotiations. I mean, we obviously need to return to negotiations, and we'd like to see a cessation of hostilities to ensure humanitarian access for all those who need it. I think, as you stated in your question, the dire humanitarian situation of the Yemeni people, of all Yemeni people, is getting worse by the hour, which is a message Mr. van der Kloff also underscored from Geneva.
The evacuation, sorry. The evacuation is only centered to Djibouti these days. Those who are managing to flee the fighting they have only access to a poor area, which is Djibouti. Are there any talks with the neighboring countries in the region to receive refugees so that they can have some kind of safe haven?
Well, obviously, I think member states have a responsibility under international law to welcome refugees. I know different countries are taking different means to try to evacuate their nationals. Obviously, any evacuation is very challenging, especially now as air bombardments and the fighting continues. I'll come back to you.